Hi, welcome to Drop Dead Eggs. I'm Steph, and this is the third video in a series I'm doing introducing my chickens. The focus of today's video is Gray and Rocky 2. I'm doubling them up because not all chickens have shining personalities. Most roosters do. They're always doing something crazy. Luma, gobs of personality. These two, not so much. It doesn't mean we don't care about them, but they're just, just plain old chickens. Some interesting things about Gray. I had to do some research to see how old she was because I can never remember. And I'll remember now, I think. I actually had to write it down. When you write it down, you remember, right? So, the oldest picture I found of her was from April of 2012. That's right. She was full grown at the time, so she is at least 9 years old, and that's pretty dang old for a chicken. Normally, 6 or 7 is how long they live. And I think maybe because she's flying under the radar, because she's not standing out from the crowd, she's able to live a good life, a good long life. When I was looking at the pictures, I was amazed at how I didn't remember some of the chickens at all. In fact, the first gray chicken that I saw in these pictures, I thought maybe was her, even though it looked a little darker than she is. And her name was Big Gray, Gray with an E, also known as Talitha. And that just doesn't sound like a name that we would have come up with, my husband and me. But maybe the previous owners had named her that. I don't know. But when I was researching a little more, I found a post that I had made on Facebook, RIPing Big Gray. So obviously that wasn't the Gray that's going to be in this video. So I looked more and I found pictures where it was definitely this Gray. She has surprisingly survived some very close hawk attacks. There was one where her comb got bloodied because she was in the thick of it. And there was another one, I didn't see it happen. My husband saw it. I heard the commotion. Both of us ran out. Maybe we spooked the hawk just in time, because I don't even think I saw it fly away. But there was a large area covered in gray feathers, and my husband thought Gray was dead, but nope, it was not her time. She is a pretty tough bird. A lot of bugs out here. Rocky, I found the earliest picture we had of her was from July of 2015. And so that puts her, and she was full grown, that puts her maybe about 6 years old. There were 3 barred rocks in that group, and yeah, that's why we named them Rocky. Very original. Yeah, Gray because she's gray, Rocky because they're barred rocks. We weren't really on top of our game as far as naming these chickens. We didn't even refer to them individually, Rocky 1, 2, and 3, when we first got them. It was always the Rockies are doing this, or one of the Rockies is doing that. I didn't distinguish between them until the first one died. She became an internal layer, which means instead of the egg coming out, the egg stays inside. And I read that if this happens maybe once, they can get past it. But if it continues to happen, then the buildup causes bacteria to form, and then infection. And one of the symptoms is because of the discomfort, the chicken will stand like a penguin with its tail pointed straight down, and that's exactly what she was doing. And then it got to the point where she couldn't even stand up, and so my husband had to put her down. And so then I dubbed her Rocky 1. She didn't have any bands on her legs. And then we had one with a band on its left leg and a band on its right. And I just said left band, Rocky 2, right band, Rocky 3. Rocky 3 fell ill. She lost her appetite. She was lethargic, weak. And during that time, she suffered a pretty traumatic experience with a rooster. I saw him make a beeline for her they were pretty far from me, and there was a gate in between us. And normal chicken lovemaking is a pretty quick affair. I've seen it go as fast as 3 seconds. Maybe average of 5, 10 if the hen isn't so into it. This was going on a lot longer. And when I saw he was still on top of her, it was at least 20 seconds or more. I ran over there, knocked him off, and there was poor Rocky 3. She had vomited all on the ground in front of her, and there was puke in her breast feathers. And I felt really bad for her. She got up, she walked around the house to where we had some containers of water for the chickens, drank, and then proceeded to preen her feathers, getting rid of the puke. And I thought, what a beautiful chicken inspiration, that even after suffering this attack, she just dusted herself off and said, I'm going to move on, because what else can I do? I definitely favored her after that. She never quite got back to 100%. She was doing a lot better. Definitely a better appetite and more energy. I would say maybe she was at 85%. But one day, in the morning, my husband went to let the chickens out, and he came in and he said, I'm sorry, Rocky 3 is dead. And I was okay with it, because her last days were good. And I would much rather a sudden death like that than a predator attack. Predator attacks are awful. As for Rocky 2, nothing really to say. She has skated between those two, and much like Gray, doesn't stand out, and so I think it's been good for her. Most recently, she has developed a parasite. And I noticed something a while ago, did a search, apparently not very hard, and then I did a more recent search and I said, uh-oh, we gotta treat them. And so you'll notice in pictures of her and footage of her that she's missing a lot of feathers, mainly under her wings. She doesn't seem to suffer for it too much because she still weighs a good amount. She is still eating plenty, and that makes me happy. And, well, there you have it. Now it's time to meet Gray and Rocky 2.